You're in a survival situation. You're dehydrated and the water's gone. There's no river, no lake, not even a puddle. Every direction is just dry earth and endless trees. It's a terrifying spot to be in, one where your mind starts playing tricks on you. But you are not out of options. The air itself is a hidden reservoir of fresh water. And today, I'm going to show you how to tap into it. What if I told you that you're surrounded by gallons of fresh, clean water, even in the middle of nowhere? Sounds crazy, but it's true. The atmosphere is full of water vapor, and with a little bit of survival science, you can pull that water right out of the air. We're going to build 3 simple devices to harvest pure drinking water, using materials you might have in your pack or can find in the wild. This isn't theory, this is a life-saving skill. Let's start with the easiest and quickest method, the transpiration bag. You can have this thing set up in under 5 minutes. So, what's transpiration? Just think of it as plants breathing. Plants pull water up from their roots, use it to move nutrients around, and then exhale the excess as water vapor from their leaves. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, a wild 10% of the moisture in our atmosphere comes from plant transpiration. That's a massive amount of water just waiting to be captured. To do this, you just need 2 things, a clear plastic bag and some string or cord. A trash bag from your pack is perfect, but it has to be clear. A black or colored bag won't work because this whole process gets supercharged by sunlight, which powers photosynthesis and makes the plant transpire more. Here's the game plan. First, find a healthy, leafy tree or bush you know isn't poisonous. The more leaves, the more water you get. Look for a branch that gets a ton of direct sunlight. That's your prime real estate. Before you do anything else, give the branch a good shake to get rid of any bugs or dirt. You want your starting water as clean as possible. Now, take your clear bag and gently slide it over the branch, covering as many leaves as you can without breaking them. Use your cord to tie the opening of the bag tightly around the stem. You want a good, airtight seal to trap all that precious water vapor. One last, critical step, make a low point for the water to collect. You can do this by tying the branch down so it hangs at an angle, or just pop a small, clean rock in the bag to weigh down a corner. This makes sure that as the water condenses, it all runs down to one spot, making it easy to pour out later. And that's it, you're done. Now you can get back to other survival tasks. In just a few minutes, you'll see condensation forming, like a mini greenhouse. After a few hours in the sun, you'll have a nice little puddle of pure water. While the plant filters the water, it's always safest to boil it if you can, just to be sure it's free of any bacteria from the leaf surfaces. Alright, next up is something a bit more involved, but it's a real workhorse, especially where the ground is damp, the classic solar still. This awesome device uses the sun's energy to literally bake water out of the earth. The principle is just evaporation and condensation, the same water cycle that makes rain. For this one, you'll need a sheet of clear plastic, a cup or container, and something to dig with. Even a sturdy stick or a flat rock will do. First, pick your spot. You need a place that gets direct sun for most of the day. A dry riverbed or a low-lying area is perfect because the soil there is more likely to hold moisture. Start digging a bowl-shaped hole about 3 feet wide and a couple of feet deep. The wider it is, the more sun it catches, but make sure your plastic sheet can cover it completely. In the very center of the pit, dig a small depression just big enough for your collection container and place your cup inside. Now, for the moisture source, if the soil is already damp, you're in business. But you can seriously boost your water output by packing the pit with green vegetation. Stuff non-poisonous leaves and plants around your central cup. They're loaded with water that the sun will force out. You can even pour murky, contaminated water into a little trough you dig around the inside of the pit, and the still will purify it for you. Next, carefully spread your plastic sheet over the entire hole. Use rocks and dirt to anchor the edges down, making it as airtight as you can. Don't skip this part. If vapor can escape, your water collection will tank. Last step, take a small, smooth rock and place it on the center of the plastic, right over your container. The weight creates a downward cone. And here's where the magic happens. The sun heats the air in the still, causing water in the soil and plants to evaporate. This humid air rises, hits the cooler plastic, and condenses into droplets. Thanks to the cone shape, those droplets run down to the lowest point and drip right into your cup. It's a slow process, but yields are often around half a liter to a liter per day in good conditions, and the water it produces is distilled and incredibly pure. Our first two methods were sun-powered, but what about when it gets dark? Cool, clear nights are perfect for our third trick, the overnight condensation trap, or dew trap. The science here is all about the dew point. As the ground cools overnight, the air temperature can drop to a point where it can't hold its moisture as vapor anymore. It condenses into liquid, what we call dew. Our job is to create a big, cool surface to collect as much of it as we can. All you need for this is a large, non-absorbent material like a tarp or your rain poncho, and something to catch the water. The setup is ridiculously simple. Find an open area, like a meadow, where air can move around freely. Stretch your tarp out, securing the corners with rocks or tying them to low stakes. The trick is to create a large, sloped surface with a distinct low point. Place your container right under that low point. Just like with the solar still, you can use a small rock on top of the tarp to create a more defined drip spot. You want as much surface area as possible exposed to the cool night air. As the tarp's temperature drops below the dew point, dew will form all over it. Gravity does the rest, channeling the droplets right into your cup. In the morning, before the sun rises and evaporates your prize, you can collect your water. You can also carefully fold the tarp and wring out any remaining dew. Now, the amount you'll get varies a lot with humidity and temperature, so don't expect gallons. But in the right conditions, this hands-off method can give you a vital drink while you sleep, using gear you probably already have. So, we set up our transpiration bag on a sunny branch, dug the solar still in a damp-looking spot, and laid out our dew trap before sundown. Now, it's the moment of truth. Let's check the transpiration bag. After about 6 hours in the sun, look at that. The inside is fogged up, and down in the corner, we have a small pool of crystal clear water. We've collected a solid cup full here, maybe a few hundred milliliters. Not a ton, but it's pure, clean, and took almost no effort. Now, the solar still, we let this bake all day. Let's carefully pull back the plastic. The ground inside is bone dry, but in our cup, we have a very nice surprise. A still this size can produce a decent amount of water, which is a game changer. And this water is distilled, some of the purest you can get. Finally, the condensation trap we left out all night. In the early morning light, the tarp is still glistening with dew. And in our cup, we've got a small but precious amount of water literally pulled from the air. The best part, when we combine the water from all three, we have enough to keep going. It's proof that even when you feel lost and out of options, you're surrounded by the resources you need to survive. So that's the transpiration bag for a quick and easy setup, the solar still for a high yield, steady supply, and the dew trap for a lazy, overnight collection. 3 different ways to get a drink when you think there's nothing but dust. Knowing how to do this can be the difference maker. You don't need fancy gadgets, just a bit of knowledge and the will to keep going. Water is everywhere, you just have to know how to look for it. If you want more life-saving skills like these, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss what's next. Stay safe and stay prepared.